Hello, good evening, everybody, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to Journey to the Tower. And this evening, this evening we will continue with um, the journey of the Major Arcana. And if you watched last week recording, you saw that. Hello, Tanya. How are you? Hello, thank you for joining. Um, Hello, Alison. Thank you for joining. Thank you. Hello, Christine. Thank you for joining. Thank you. If you watched last week recording, you saw that I'm not going exactly into the meaning of the cards because hello Margaret, because I think those are known by everybody, and yes, a basic knowledge is necessary for the interpretation. What interests me more is um, is basically, let's say, the analysis that has been done by. I'm following Rachel Pollack on the Major Arcana, analyzing them from all the point of all the traditions, and the traditions that are involved in the tarot, and especially in the rider Waite. And with regard to this, um, I'm aware that I I said to you that they are divided. The major arcana are divided from zero to uh, hello, Hafsa, hello, thank you. From 0 to 10, they represent our inner world, and from 11 to 22, they represent the outer world. And that's true. That's also, you know everybody um, takes Rachel Pollack instead. What how she sees the major arcana. She takes out the Fool, and then she divides the major arcana in three group of seven. And we all know that the number seven um, is very important in the symbolism as a number. And for example, the seven represents the seven planets, and um, seven pillars of wisdom, and the seven lower stations of the tree of life, um, the seven chakras, and the 7 days of the week. So, um, and also, um, this division into three allow us to see the major arcana, um, mm, dealing with the three three areas uh, of experience, um, mm, which is the consciousness, mm, the outer um, the consciousness, the other concerns, and then the life in society. Um, the the subconscious as well, or and the search, the inward search, to find who we really are. Um, and also the superconscious, which is is related to the development of a spiritual awareness of and the release of archetypal energy. Um, this is I wanted to also um, mm, to add this. Oh, and with regard to hello Angie, with regard to the sacred geometry, I was doing the when I prepared the presentation PowerPoint, there was a question asked from Stace, and Stace asked if mandalas are part of um, sacred geometry, and the sources that I used for that PowerPoint presentation didn't mention the mandalas, which basically are. And mandalas are hello Dolores. Mandalas are the sacred geometry used in the Hindu religion and Buddhism as well, and are mainly what they are used in the deck that I showed you. Those are mandalas. So thank you, Stace, for the question you asked, and because it gave me the opportunity to go and look into it. And I'm sorry I missed that. Um, uh, and actually, I never thought never thought to mandalas are sacred geometry. Actually, when Stace asked the question, I said, actually, but I was not sure right now. So thank you, Stace. So we can continue with the High Priestess, and as anticipated last week, the high priestess is a little bit more. I won't try to bother you too much, but it's um, I I think it's something it's useful to know. And obviously always um, referring to the rather weight, but actually I like also the high priestess in the good tarot. The way she's represented is also nice. So as you can see here, um, in the Rider Waite, the high priestess resemble a lot, um, let's say, a figure that we find in Christianity, especially in Catholicism. And the reason, the reason is um, in the Middle Ages. In the Middle Ages, there was um, the church decided to bring back a feminine figure in the church because of all the things that had happened, especially uh, in the Catholic Church. They knew that they had lost a lot, um, a lot of, um, they didn't believe anymore. They didn't trust anymore. So it has been decided that um, to bring back this figure. And how this happened. The story goes that the around um, 1300 um, there was basically um, a woman was claimed pope, but this is not certain actually. And mm, in Italy, in the 13th century, there was a group, um, and mm, they were following this woman called Guglielma of the Bohemia, and um, that basically it was believed um, um, that this group elected another woman later after the death of this Guglielmo di Bohemia, uh, as Pope, a woman Pope. And um, of course, the church took, um, you know, acted, and how it would happen during those time, and those who were, and the name of this woman was Manfreda Visconti. As it would happen during in those times, heretics were burned alive, and that's how this pope, I don't know, self-elected pope ended up. Hello, Marie. And the so this is basically, um, in the same, many years later. Then um, many years later, the Visconti family then commissioned the the tarot drums, and and um, mm, and among the trumps, the tarocchi, um, appeared the papes, and that's how, um, first, the origin of the papacy among um, among the major arcana. Um, and the name of the papacy, it was called, the major arcana was called papacy until the 18th century, when Cour de Gobelin, the Cour de Gobelin believed that the tarot had Egyptian origins. So he decided to change the name to the High Priestess because he thought um, that that the tarot originated um, in the Isis religion of Egypt. So the name was changed. Um, and let's say that today today both names still exist, and they have added many others depending on the tradition that the tarot deck is based upon. If we think about the Celtic tradition, names change completely. So, but keeping um, staying with the if you, we stay with the rider weight, um, this is basically um, what happened. Then, during the Middle Ages, there was also um, a reintroduction of the female and feminine principle into religion, and this is strictly related with the church, and and this is the part where the Catholic mysticism, Christian mysticism, um, is ingrained in the tarot. And the reason was to um, to have figure, a female figure that would attract more believers. Uh, because at that point in time, mm, you know, the Catholic Church had lost a lot of um, of power on people. Let's say, let's say it had lost a lot of power on people. Well, they decided to introduce this feminine figure um, in religion, um, and because people saw the presence of men, like uh, people, priests and rabbis was um, very strong, and harsh at the same time, because they were there was especially in the Middle Ages, there was an emphasis on the sin judgment, and those things. So to relieve and to give people also something a little bit lighter to believe. I figured there was the introduction. So basically, what the church decided to raise the figure of the Virgin Mary, um, Jesus' moms, at the same level of Jesus. And this is basically um, what the Christian mysticism present here. Um, with regard to the tarot, we see how uh, this lady here wears a light blue cloak, and she basically represents the um, um, you know mm, she has on her head the moon, representing the three faces of the moon, and again she sits between two pillars, and she has at the back behind her this veil, and basically the high priestess is between um, two worlds. And um, and the tarot also splits the feminine archetype into into two trumps, and gives, let's say, more positive qualities to the empress. um, mm, whereas the high priestess has a more subtle um, mm, aspect of uh, um, of um, of the female. And the temple introduced the images of, as I said before, the images of the two pillars. Um, so once again, there's the theme of duality represented here again. The theme of polarity. Um, the theme of polarity. And the letter B and J, they stand for bows and Jakin, and mm, which are the names that have been given to the main temples in Jerusalem. And mm, the black one, mm, to the main pillars. The black pillar, um, the dark rose stands for mm, mystery, for passivity. Instead, the other one symbolizes um, action and consciousness. So, um, once again, the um, the introspection, knowing um, that um, that we live on duality, we live on polarity, that there can't be an aspect only without another one. Um, if we think about the yin and yang symbol, and and this is, it's represented here, here as well. um, but if you notice the letter, it's like being yin and yang, because the letter B has a different color on the dark one, and the letter J is black on the white, on the white one. So again, the at the same time, the duality is really represented here. Um, and and that we have both, um, we have both. In the same way, you try to um, highlight it with our shadow, basically. And the she has a scroll in her hands. She has a scroll, and the scroll is, we can, if you can read, is written Torah. um, and once again, this refers to the Jewish mm, book of, the book of, we saw at the beginning, Torah means guidance, or the 5 books of the law. And um, and the same at the same time, again, here we find the anagram for tarot, and not only Torah. Um, the Torah has an important esoteric meaning, esoteric meaning, um, because when the Torah is held by the high priestess, and is rolled up, um, and is partly visible, and the other part is, is covered by the blue cloth. And mm, it means that the higher knowledge, it's still not accessible to us. um, and it's directly connected to our level of um, spiritual growth and understanding. It can also, um, mm, be described, um, or yeah, can also be described in this way. So until we don't reach a level of understanding. Hello, Suzanne. Um, until we don't reach that level of understanding, this is not completely accessible. And um, the meaning, the meaning of the high priestess still, um, really with a sense of mystery in life. Um, both, the things that we don't know, and um, and also the things that we cannot know. It nearly, the high priestess really highlights um, how the knowledge, how the understanding are important to access more um, more knowledge and more understanding. Um, um, because and because of this, um, mm, because of this, really, the high priestess represents that um, that level of mystery, that level of um, you know fear, fear of the unknown, um, that that we can have, um, when we uh, don't have the whole picture, um, the whole knowledge. um, so it's better for us to have a a time to go inward, to have a time of reflection, and um, to awaken in us, um, and the time the time that time of reflection allows things to awaken in ourselves. And mm, the the high priestess can refer also to visions and psychic powers, and in its when we give, when we the most positive, in a positive aspect, or one positive aspect of the high priestess is the potential that we have in our life. um, um, but this potential must be put into action, otherwise will never come to fruition. um, and in a negative way, um, it's um, we go in a fear mode, basically. And this is um, the high priestess, and the veil that you can see behind um, mm, the high priestess is the veil that um, divides divides the two, separate the two worlds. And and the high priestess guards um, these um, these two these two this this door to access, and she stands in between. That means that she can be in um, in this world, and she can be also in the other. And if we look at the meaning of the high priestess from a kabbalistic approach, um, basically, basically with the Kabbalistic approach, uh, the the high priestess uh, represents the feminine part of God in the in that tradition. But mm, which mainly mm, there was in the Kabbalistic approach there was not uh, there was also representation of um, an hermaphrodite. um, mm, so hermaphrodite god, so no male or female. um, and this is the high priestess. Next, we have the empress. Um, as I said before, the empress represents the most positive aspects of the feminine side, the feminine archetype, like uh, motherhood, love, gentleness, and uh, the female, the most positive female connotation. Um, the Empress the Empress has a more um, earthly approach to life. Mm, and as you can see, the Empress is surrounded by nature, so is not in a mm, ethereal world, in mid worlds like the high priestess. And um, and that the Empress has a passion for life. um, um, and we need to um, we really need according we really need to commune with the earthly world, and have that knowledge that everything that surround us is as much um, sacred as the unseen. So until until we don't learn to appreciate this, according to the representation of the high priestess, we can't really um, appreciate uh, the the world the world unseen. Mm. And I know that now um, many people commune with nature because it's our basic, it's where we live physically, and that's why the Empress put an emphasis on this. And also you can see from the card that she is surrounded by by trees, by uh, uh, it's the time of the harvest, and she's very grounded. And um, the high priestess also has a different approach to her femininity without denying that she's a woman. And so, um, and actually, this is something that I read, and how our um, our sensuality, it's also a portal to, it's also a part to a spiritual experience. And um, that's also another uh, thing that, um, you know another archetype that the empress represents. Um, so we need to become aware of nature, of what surrounds us, the world, the natural world that surrounds us, and also of ourselves, in the and integrated. Um, at the same time, we can see here there's this symbol of Venus. So, Venus in another section is also um, uh, the symbol of femininity and the symbol of sensuality. Um, let's see. Mm, and the empress, um, it's it's a symbol. It's also has been taken uh, from the Roman goddess, and mm, the Roman version of the great goddess. Um, and that she, she wears beautiful this beautiful dress, and in her dress as well. As for the high priestess, the the pattern that you see here, it's pomegranate, is the fruit pomegranate, as well as here um for the high priestess. And if you remember, when we went through the symbolism, we saw how the pomegranate had a spiritual meaning as a fruit, um, had a spiritual meaning. And this is basically, um, she has the harvest at her feet, and um, the crown that she wears on her head, and the crown has 12, 12 stars, and the 12 stars represent the 12 zodiac signs. So basically, um, she wears the universe has their jewelry. Um, um, let's see, and okay, mm, the stars are six pointed. I know it's difficult. It's difficult to see with a naked eye. Yeah, the stars are six pointed, um, and they all together they combine two triangles. Um, the upwards one symbolizes fire, the downwards symbolizes water, and the the Empress also combines together the magician and the high the high priestess, and combine together the magician and the high priestess. Um, in in a way, um, in an in a new environment, which is um, the earthly one, and because even the, we find that the magician between even the magician and the high priestess are both between the two worlds, and instead, the high priestess is completely on the earthly world, is grounded, is surrounded by, she sits on a beautiful armchair. She is completely grounded. So there's um, there's a this new new combination of the other two. There must, there must be, um how can I say this, how can I explain this, after two uh, major arcana that uh, are based, you know, are between two worlds. There's the need of one who is completely grounded, who talks about, represents ourselves in the physical world. And we can see that there's the symbolism around. There's a river here, and this is represents the river, um, of our life, that runs, um, mm, mm, without obstacles, and it runs when we give ourselves permission to experience things, without without self sabotage ourselves in reality. Um, and also the river also symbolizes the mm, the change that can changes that can happen in our lives, um, because the water goes through, and it is never the same. um, we don't have, how can I say, um, we don't have the same, the same water running, the same, through the same river, to the same river again. And mm, the number as well, the number three, here, um, gives us another meaning, whereas the number one and number two, and it's really represented because the magician is the young, and the yin, sorry, and the high priestess is the yang. The number three um, mm, of the of the high priestess is basically the results of the previous two numbers. um, and it's really, uh, the as I said before, it's really the high priestess who to um, is grounded to into our natural, into the physical world, and there's no ego, and there's no ego there. Mm, and there's an direct experience of the world, without control, or labels. Um, and it's only, unfortunately, when we become adults, that learn we develop our ego as well, and then we learn how to put the barriers, and those barriers also basically, um, restrict our potential, from developing. And this is where um, the high priestess represents represents as well. Um, One goal of the tarot, and that's why I like the approach on Rachel Pollack and Mary Beer, because they don't see the what they brought, um, by writing and studying a lot, is the spiritual meaning. So our our birth, our journey through the world, and then coming back to ourselves, to our true self, to our spiritual self. And that's what is it's also, the meaning, the meaning that carries the high priestess. Um, the emperor, sorry, the empress, not the high priestess. The empress also could represent a mother, the figure of a mother, and motherhood is really an important aspect um, for women. So through motherhood, there's a continuation. Life continues. Um, and because there of the physical of the bond between the mother and the child, um, is so direct. um, the love the love of the mother is the love of the mother is pure, um, and is pure, and is given without conditions. Uh, the Empress also represent the you know the what the earth can give us. If you see here at the bottom, at her feet, she has the harvest. So what um, the earth can give us, and also she's also the archetype of fertility, and the also there's um, it could be interpreted as mm, as the issues that someone might had uh, in their relationship with their mother, or around the issues of being a mother. And mm, this is basically uh, the high not I continue to say the high priestess, the empress. And quickly we have we have the I will start with the emperor, and then I'll continue. Okay, the emperor, it's seen also as and actually this is the first arcana where a sun sign it represents the Aries sun sign. And the emperor represents the father in the traditional fashion, and where especially in the past where roles, mother and father, were defined. Um, for sure, it's a figure of authority and strictness, and if you notice even the stance, the way it's seated, the expression on his face, it's it's stern, um, very very serious, and um, yes, and mm, it can also the personification, that it can also be um, a judge, um, because of these characteristics can impersonate different figures, not only a father, also um, mm, a judge, um, or even the figures that tell us to respect the rules in society. Um, and in many cases, the emperor is seen as the counterpart of the empress, and also could be read. Both of them can represent in readings a mother or a father. Um, a mother or a father in their archetypal roles. And but as the empress represent the natural world, um, also the emperor carries a much broader um, meaning, um, which I will tell you next week. Um, mm, because it's from here, the ones really that was required more time was it's really the high priestess, but this from the emperor till the others, it will be a very quick explanation that I will give you the next week. And I'm not only talking about the meaning of the card in a reading. Again, the traditions that you find in in the major arcana itself. For example, um, here you see the emperor holds the ankh, which is a symbol of life, the Egyptian ankh. Uh, he is seated um, in a position where his stance forms the way he's seated, the number, the number four, which is found again in the hangman, and this number in the Kabbalah has a particular meaning. Oh, everything um, is intertwined, and So I I would like I would like to thank everybody, all those who joined this evening, and I hope to see you again next Monday, and uh, to really draw to the conclusion of of the way, you know um, of this in review interpretation of the major arcana. Mm, and then I'll um, I'll see you on Saturday. Um, you're welcome, Dolores. I'll see you on Saturday for the mini readings from 9 to 10 o'clock UK time. Okay, thank you everybody for being here with me. And as usual, a heartfelt thank you goes to Veronica Jenkins and Universal Spiritualism, to Stays for being the admin and the moderator. Uh, I wish you a wonderful evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are in the world, and I hope to see you back soon, either on Saturday or next Monday. Thank you very much.